Is it possible to be real and authentic on any online platform? And if so, is it even desirable? I've been thinking about this question a lot lately as I've been putting out my own viewpoints and perspectives more and more on this channel. For about a decade, I've stayed away from social media completely, of all stripes. But lately I've thought about it differently. I've thought about it not as a way to amass a following of people, but more as a way to develop a community of like-minded people, to find the people that are out there that think like I do, that think about these bigger questions of meaning, of vocation, of purpose, of why are we here, right? It's a question that we all grew up asking as kids, and I guess I never stopped asking that question. I still want to know, why am I here? Is there a purpose for me? Like, what's the thing I was meant to do? It's also, for better or worse, a necessity in my line of work. I run a creative agency, and people hire me for my perspective, and so I need to be putting my perspective out there. As I've been doing this, I'm constantly faced with the question of how much Taylor do I share? How much of Taylor do I reveal and put out there? Do I share more of me on, YouTube versus LinkedIn? Or maybe it's not a question of like more or less, it's maybe a question of I share differently. To return to my opening question, is authenticity even possible? When I'm creating a video for YouTube, for example, like this one you're watching, I write a outline for the video. So I create a script. I set up a light. There's a big light up there that you can't see. There's a microphone right here that you can't see. I set up the lights behind me. This isn't how it always looks. And so I'm essentially, it feels like I'm a performer on a stage, and I'm setting up the set, so to speak. I then frame the shot. I might shoot B-roll. I might do multiple takes in order to make sure my thinking is clear, to make sure my explanation is clear, but also, if I'm totally honest, so I come across as coherent and so I come across as intelligent. I'm presenting myself in a certain way, in a certain light, in the way that I want to be or hope to be perceived. So yes, it is both creating some clarity for the viewer of this content, but it's also presenting me in a way that I want to be presented. Because at the end of the day, I choose what makes the final cut. I choose what to say. I choose what to include and what to exclude. And all the while, even when writing this video outline, I'm keenly aware that someone, somewhere, perhaps, will see this video, and they will make judgments about me based on this video. And my ego is concerned about that. I found that the self is really concerned with creation and bringing new ideas to light, whereas the ego is concerned with other people's judgment, and the ego wants to protect me at all costs. The ego, if we're honest, it doesn't want me to put anything out there at all, because that's safer. This tension between the self and the ego, it creates this performative dynamic whether or not I want it to. So I'm led to the conclusion that no, authenticity, realness, true authenticity, it isn't possible, because there will always be some inner manager inside of us that is deciding what goes on stage and the stuff that stays backstage. Is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? I'd like to extend an analogy, if I may. And I may, because this is my video. This on-stage, off-stage analogy extends beyond our online personas, and it extends into our in-person relationships. Because the way that relationships works, it's a give and take. I share a bit about me, you share a bit more about you. I share more about me, you share more about you. And we're able to judge how much of ourselves we want to share based on how much that other person is sharing with us. All relationships begin with some sort of small talk, but then small talk eventually turns into big talk if there is reciprocity between the two people that are having the conversation. I think that's the reason why online authenticity can feel so weird and clunky. It's because there is no signal for how much you should reveal of yourself. There is no give and take. It's just give, give, give. And often, you may be surprised to know this, but on the internet, people don't always take the most charitable view of you. And so you can reveal something really personal. You can reveal something that is vulnerable, and people might misinterpret it. And people might not have a charitable view of what you're sharing or what you're trying to communicate. Plus, the people we are revealing ourselves to, they don't have any context for us, and there just is not an avenue where they can really reveal that much of themselves back. However, in any relationship, whether it's an online relationship, online persona, or in-person relationship, there are parts of ourselves that we simply never reveal. I think part of it is self-protection. I think part of it is we choose not to reveal aspects of ourselves. But I also think part of it is that there are parts of ourselves that words can't really touch. There are experiences that we have that we can't properly communicate with language. I think true authenticity is only possible when we are alone and by ourselves. And to me, that explains why I find solitude, alone time, to be so life-giving for me, is because, and I start my mornings off with solitude every morning, over in that chair, behind you. You can't see it. But it's because it's a chance for me to be truly myself. It's a chance for me to just not have to answer for anything, not have to answer to anyone, to be able to think about whatever I want to think about, and to not have to use words to explain myself. I can just be myself. Is true authenticity even desirable? In a word, no. Because what would that even look like? Would it mean somebody sharing every single thought, every 15,000 thoughts that they have every single day? I hope not. I don't need to know all 15,000 of your thoughts. I hope that there would be some discernment in what to share and what not to share. And so I think authenticity is one of those things that we can move towards. We can continue to move towards it, and it's worthwhile to move towards it, even if we never fully reach that destination. I think it's a way of being in the world. It's a way of embodying a certain mindset or a certain way that we present ourselves in order to show up for people, in order to make people feel potentially less alone, to make them feel seen, to create a sense of belonging, whether that be online or whether that be in person. So I suppose authenticity is not the right word. I think the word we should use instead of authenticity, because it's been so abused and overused, I think sincerity. I think sincerity is a better word. This idea of sincerity, where does this leave us when it comes to our online personas? Because it's becoming more and more important for people to have online personas, whether they want to or not. And I'm still very much wrestling with this question, but here's where I'm at now. I think when we decide what to share about ourselves, because we'll always be deciding, we'll always be editing, we can either decide to edit to promote ourselves and to prop up some idealized version of ourselves, or we can use the way that we present ourselves, the way that we come across, in order to help people be more seen and able to help people feel less alone in the world. When we share parts of ourselves in order to help foster better relationships, I think that shows us that we are on the right track. Being authentic or real or sincere, it's less about curating a version of ourselves or trying to create this idealized version of ourselves, and it's more about curating, because you're still picking and choosing what to put out there. I think it's about putting stuff out there that is real, that has heart, and that is truly trying to make a connection. So no, this does not end with some tidy conclusion, but maybe it ends with a question, a guiding question that we can take with us on our journeys. Does my presence, does the way that I am showing up, does it help prop up a version of me and a way that I want people to see me or perceive me, or does it help people in their own journey be more real and be more themselves? I think when we live with this question, when we take this question with us as a companion on our journey, I think we have to worry less about being authentic or focus on being real. I think through living out that question, I think authenticity and realness will follow as a result.